So thank you very much for staying with us until now. And now I'm about to show you a presentation, a very quick one, a demo, a little bit about the training management module that we have here in Orcanos. So it will give you some idea about how you should expect to run and manage your training management when you're using electronic system. So let's get started. First, I will log in into our application with a well-authenticated user. And in our use case, I will use two special use cases. One is the use case when we have an employee that he is in a certain job title, playing some role in our company. And due to his specific role, I would like to make sure that he will get all the necessary training that he needs to get whenever something happens that requires a training. So in our first very simple example, I'm about to use a case where Alex is one of our production line employees, and he is having a profile in our system. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a look at his profile for a second so you can see how the profile management system looks like. So in the training management module that you can access directly from the system and look at the relevant entities that involved with the training management, we have a list of all the user profiles. Those user profiles are matching completely with the authenticated users that are created in your system admin. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a look at all my employees' profile. And like a profile should look like, you have, of course, the basic stuff. You have the profile image, the employee signature. And if we look even a little bit deeper at Alex's specific profile, then we can see valuable information that is very well mentioned inside the 13485. As well, if we're looking at the 483 observations by the FDA, they're expecting from us to have track and log all the necessary education and evidence of experience that this employee has in order to perform well with this job description. So we have a list of all his degrees, we have evidence of his certification, we have a little bit of background and years from his profession, and also we have some default program that we can link to him in case we want to fire some specific training program to this employee for any other reason. Maybe we want to refresh something about his knowledge. Maybe we need to, there is some urgent call for and training need, so we can fire a training task directly from his profile. If we look at the summary of his profile, you can see beside the fact that we are also electronically collecting the information, of course, according to CFR 21, we are keeping history of all those changes on his profile. We also summarize all the training records that this employee has conducted and need to conduct as well historically. So we have all that collected inside our system at once. So as I mentioned earlier, Alex is playing a role of a production line technician. He's basically working in the assembly line. So for that case, relevant documents that are associated with his role when they are performing a change, we would like to make sure that all the employees that are linked to that same job title, we get a training task regarding that change. So let's try to look at our document control management system that comes together with Orcanos system as well. So in the document controls system, we have our archiver of all documents that are under control. And we can just go ahead and pick up one of those documents that we would like to use for our demonstration. So let's say there is a calibration procedure. And obviously, calibration procedure is a procedure that will affect the production line people. So in the training detail section on the document level, you can specify the training program that you want to execute when a change happens to the document, and the roles and trainees that you would like to launch and fire those training tasks when something happened. You can proactively go and fire this training regardless of event of a change that can happen also is available for you. But in our use case, we're going to do it due to a change in the document. So this document at the current state is in status. approved, and it is latest revision is revision F. So I'm about now to download this document and perform some changes on the document. And then eventually, when I launch the document back after the changes, then I can go ahead and see what happens when the change occurred. So looking at the document, so now once the document has been changed, I'm ready to upload the document to our system for a new revision. I'm going to select the file. After I made all the changes, I'm going to pick up that file. I may say why I'm making this change in the procedure. It's due to a change in the design. And I'm going to upload the new file. Now that a new file has been uploaded, I can start routing with the electronic signature. I'm going to keep my own signer to make it simple, and I'm going to sign the document. Now, due to this signature, what will happen is once the signature is completed and the document is being released, at this point of time, when the document is released, now we are going to fire those training tasks to Alex and everybody that is associated with this role. Let's take a look at Alex's profile one more time. I'm going to open Alex's profile. And you can see immediately that he has a new training task for self-rating for that procedure that is a calibration procedure for release G1. We know what is the exact release now that we can access this training task directly and take a look at deeply. We can take a deeper look into that training task. First of all, what we see, we have a hyperlink that shows directly the revision that Alex is supposed to read. Clicking on that revision will open the released file immediately for a review and understanding. Secondly, we have this task automatically assigned to Alex. And all what Alex needs to do, he needs to sign that task. Signing that task will be an evidence and approval for his self-reading and understanding of the task. Together with that, we also produce for him automatically a certification as an evidence for his conduction of the training task and as an evidence to our profile archiving record. So now Alex is about to sign it. And a moment before we're going to sign it, I want to take a look at our training program on the highest level. So if I will go for a second into the training management system, you will see that we are collecting there all the different training programs, but also we are planning our annual training plan. And you can see that in that training plan, we already have a self-reading program that was executed. And also we have Alex training task in the training plan itself. So when we present the annual training plan, what we have done, what needs to be done, how we are tending to execute our training, we can look at it in two different levels. We can look at the training program, which are collections of training tasks that can need to be executed at a certain time. And we can look at the actual training task that has been performed in their current state during this physical year of 2021, sorry. So we got that as well all together into our system. So now I'm going back into the training task, as I mentioned and said, we're about to sign it. So I'm going to give Alex permission to sign his training task. Of course, notification will be launched and fired to the relevant people once the training task is being completed. And if there is a need for effectiveness evaluation and we need someone to approve that evaluation, we can continue to sign that training task by the appropriate personnel that will need to verify and validate the effectiveness of this training task. It's not necessary. If it's not necessary, then you can put the justification why it's not. Going back into Alex's profile. So we're looking at his record. On the record level, his training task now is in status completed. As you can see here, all the calibration process here, his training is completed. It's at the end of the list. He has a few other tasks that he needs to work on them, so they are in the top list. If we look at the annual training plan, of course, it was updated as well there. If we look at the dashboard and we want to look at some other reports that can be produced from the Orcanos system, you can see different courses and trainees, and you see the different topics that you're planning to cover on your annual plan. You can see also the employee training plan execution status, each employee, what training he has and what is their status. And you can see also the training tasks that are actively according to their due date, depending when each training task is supposed to be completed. So you can see your annual planning and progress, and the employee records per employee with the different trainings. And of course, you can have those matrices when you can list all the employees and see each employee, which training they have on their hand. As well, you can see the annual program progress according to the training tests that are in the pipeline, so you can know how far you are from your objectives to complete that task. As well, you have direct access from your dashboard to your employees as well. If I will log in as an Alex, on the other end, you will see that Alex, when I'm going to log in as Alex, he will have his own different dashboard. And in his dashboard, it will be much more personalized. It will have the list of all the training tasks that are assigned to him. He will have his own personal dashboard. Training tasks waiting for his signatures. If there was any training tasks waiting for his signature, it will be listed here. And he can sign them directly from the dashboard. As well, he can see his training task progress independently and his training task progress on a trend bar, where it allows him to basically know how far he's going from what he's expected to do. So we have different views for different people, and we can basically look at the data in almost any direction, from the document direction, from the user profile, from the annual program, from the programs themselves that are very easy to set and predefined. In the training management module, you have a very simple way to specify a training library, which basically gives you the option to see what type of trainings are available for you, and you can break it down into different topics. Like, for example, you can set up a new employee training program. If you have a new R&D coming into your company, you can set up a training program for your developer. He needs to perform certain tasks, and you can fire that based on his user profile. He needs to read a coding standard. He needs to locate the fire exit. He needs to do some self-reading of the basic standard of IEC 62304. So each such training task can be linked and associated with a specific DMS item. So you can say, okay, he needs to perform those tasks. And for each such task, we have linked a specific DMS item, a document. It is going to be hooked with the task and will be fired together with it. So a very nice way to collect a lot of information about different practices of employees and profiles and programs and tasks and events, of course. And this has become something very helpful and handy for you to use in your daily work. So this was our first use case. Let me just prepare myself for the next use case. So stay on with me. I'm just coming back in a second with the second use case.